Well,
Awesome.
Billy, it's so nice to meet you. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
nice,
you taking the time to do this with me.
no, nice to meet you as well. Thanks for having me on. This is awesome.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of questions for you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really curious how you've managed the balancing act of being a dual sport athlete in high school. And yeah, just want to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah, actually I was played 3 sports in high school.
Oh my gosh.
Only for one, like, I was only part of the team for, like, the first half of the season. I played baseball as well my freshman year, and then I was just like, "Alright, this is getting too much to handle a little bit with
Bit
everything
too
going
much, huh?
on." So, yeah, that's when I narrowed it down to hockey and golf was,
Yeah.
freshman year of high school. It's just
Yeah.
strictly hockey and golf, and, in a way, it was a little hard to balance in the fall, especially because that's when my main golf season was. But luckily, my classes weren't too hard, so I didn't have too much homework, and I was able to get it done in class. But yeah, I was. It was shockingly a lot easier to manage than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, really? That's
Unlike,
amazing. Yeah.
unlike now, where even playing one sport in college, and it's it gets pretty hectic trying to manage it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really a different world. How did you handle that transition from high school to college?
It was a change. It was a big change, and it's something that I still am trying to get down to this day. Even though I'm going into my senior year, I'm still trying to get it down. Um, but it was definitely a big transition just with time management. That was a huge thing that kind of smacked me right in the face as soon as I came to college.
Yeah.
Such as just getting my school done or my schoolwork done on time, and um, uh, basically setting my priorities straight, such as mainly just school and golf, and then friends after all that stuff. Um, and yeah, I that my first semester of school definitely smacked me pretty hard in the face. Um,
Do you even have any time for social life?
during the I during our actual season, so in the fall from beginning of September all the way through end of October, no, no, I don't have
Uh-huh.
much. I'm pretty much strictly. So it goes, yeah, beginning September through end of October, and then um, like middle of January, all the way through the end of the school year. So what is it? January, February, March, April, like May, all the way through like beginning of May is when like we're all like locked in. So
Yeah. Yeah.
through those seasons, we're pretty busy with just school and practice. So go work out in the morning, 6 a.m., and then come back, go to class in the morning, and then afternoon is set for practices. So we practice all the way till sundown, and come home and work on some schoolwork, and hit the hay right after that. Call it a night.
So you really have to schedule and account for pretty much every minute of your day.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it takes a lot of time just to even get that schedule down, especially because you only know your schedule for that week. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you know when you're traveling, but you don't know exactly where you're practicing, when you're practicing for the next few weeks.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it gets pretty hectic.
So you don't even really have the stability of a routine necessarily. I mean, you can create some routine for yourself, but if you don't always know where you're going to be practicing, that can be challenging.
Correct. Yeah, I would say the mornings is typically I locked in a routine, um, and it basically came became just a habit of waking up early, um, working out, class, all that stuff. That was all that was the same
Hmm.
throughout the whole year. And but when it came to the afternoon, we were either playing or practicing, so we'd show up at the course at different times, and so that all varied depending on our schedule and wherever our next tournament was. So it was kind of like we get thrown a curveball every week, and see how we play it.
Well, and golf alone is already so mentally demanding. It can
Oh
really
yeah.
kind of wear you down faster than maybe most people realize. How do you actually reset after a bad shot, a rough hole, a not great tournament?
Yeah, after a bad shot, I mean, it's a lot harder during the school year than it is during the summer. I definitely have picked up on it over the last, I mean, my last 3 years. I play way better over the summers than I do during the school year, and
Yeah.
I'm way harder on myself. Put way more pressure on myself during the school year than I do in the summer. I mean, because I'm not only just playing for myself, but I'm also playing for my team or my school, my teammates, my coaches, all that. And but yeah, I would after a bad shot, I typically try my best to just rub it off, just go walk and find it and hit it again. That's what I try to do. Um, but it really sticks in your head. It really gets in your head, and you stand over the next shot, like even if it's the same club or something like that, and you're like, okay, I don't want to do that again. That's something
Mhm.
that sticks with me in my head.
Yeah.
And I've gotten better with it over time. But um, like if I'm standing over it, last thing you want is a negative thought,
Yeah.
especially
Right.
especially in golf. I mean, regardless any sport, like but in golf, that's the last thing you want is a negative thought.
Yeah, you
You
have
always
too
want
much time to think.
exactly. That's why I
Yeah.
try to tee it up. I mean, you want to have a good routine, but you I also want to get that ball in the air and on the ground as fast as I can, just so I have less thoughts up top. Like it's just that's how it works with golf. It just varies. So when it comes to like a swing thought or like a routine, it all varies depending on how I'm playing or if I'm very confident in my game or if I'm not.
Do you at all consciously coach yourself through a round, to try to keep you more relaxed?
Yeah, I try to. Um, Most of the time, I don't even notice it. Um,
Mm.
but I would definitely say I try. Like I always do pretty good with it throughout the first beginning part of the round, and then I get I always do an evaluation every 3 holes, and I after the first 3 holes, I see how I'm doing, how I'm hitting it. If I'm not hitting it well, then I try to change something up, and try to just keep myself as positive as possible instead
Mhm.
of just trying to get down and negative like how I have been in the past or in the school years. But yeah, that's definitely something that I definitely have tried my best to do, and I would definitely say I've gotten better at.
Yeah, I often talk to the athletes I work with that their thoughts are a lot like a GPS. So wherever your thoughts are going, that's kind of what's going to happen. So
Yeah,
it's so important that you do keep those thoughts in the positive direction while you're playing.
exactly. Yeah, such as like I mean, I'm standing on a tee box and tight fairway. I have a hazard left and trees to the right. I obviously what comes to mind first is obviously the hazard and the trees.
Right.
You're never thinking about where you need to hit that ball. You're always thinking about where you
Where
don't
not
want
to hit the ball. Yeah.
it. Exactly. So it's something that I've definitely gotten way better at, and it's definitely helped out my game with my scores and just overall golf game was just thinking about where I need to hit it, just thinking about
Yeah.
positive.
Yeah. How do you prepare mentally the night before a tournament versus the morning of? Is there a difference?
In a way, yes, I definitely would say so. I always the night before a tournament, I always try to visualize the course, like especially if I played a practice round that day, and I always try to visualize the course and what shots I'm going to hit. I always pretend like I am a spectator watching myself play, and I'm watching myself make putts. I'm watching myself hit great shots, and that's what I'm always doing pre-round, or sorry, the night before a round, and right when I get in bed. And same thing, kind of pre-round as well. Most people listen to music before. I'm not a big. I don't like listening to too much music before a round, but definitely stretching is a big thing before a round. But other mentally, I would just say just trying to be as positive as possible. Telling myself that I've been playing well, even if I haven't been playing well. I just try to tell
Mm.
myself that I've been playing well. I've been seeing a lot of positives, even if it's the smallest thing. Um, it goes a long way with telling
Yeah.
myself all the positives.
Yeah, it's really important. Now, your grandfather, Stan Mikita, was an NHL legend. I know it's a different sport. Did his career at all shape your mentality as an athlete?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
He he always told me to. I mean, especially as an athlete, he always told me to remember where I came from. So, and like no matter, and this kind of goes like for everyone, and but definitely because there's a lot of golfers now that have short tempers, and
Mm,
that's something that I always remember. That statement that he told me, that's something that I've always remembered, is to keep a cool head out on the golf
yeah.
course. Even when I played hockey, I tried my best in hockey to keep a cool head.
It's not
Just
the
'cause
sport for it typically.
exactly right. So it definitely goes a long way if you have a cool head out on the course. If you keep
Yeah.
it if you hit a good shot, most people get excited about it. And if you hit
Yeah.
a bad shot, most people get very down on themselves about it. But if no matter what, within the last year, I've learned it a lot, and just from looking back on what he's told me, is
Yeah.
just to keep a level head and act like you're nobody. Because then nobody, if you keep a level head, nobody will know if you're shooting 80, 85, or if you're shooting 65. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
something that he told me that for all sports that I
Yeah.
ever he was like that's the most important thing.
And what about your father? He's a longtime PGA Tour caddy. What has it been like growing up around him in that environment? Are there some big lessons that you've learned from watching him handle the ups and downs inside the ropes?
Yeah, a lot. He tends to caddy for me pretty often. So
Oh,
in
really?
the summertime, so it's pretty cool to have him on the bag and just listen to what he has to say. And I'm always going to try to listen to what he has to say, even if I disagree with him, because I mean he's been doing it for 35 years,
Yeah.
and he's learned a lot, and he's gained a lot of knowledge from it. So it's definitely something that's pretty cool, that I look at when I'm in a field and he's caddying for me. There's not many other people that have a caddy that's caddied in 4 Ryder Cups, 4 Presidents
Yeah.
Cups, 15 plus Masters, and I don't even know how many majors, but and
Yeah.
like right around 20 wins. So yeah, he's definitely passed down a lot of knowledge to me, that has helped me out over the years. And anytime I'm struggling, I just go back to the knowledge that he's taught me, because
Is there
he's
one
always,
of you, something favorite that you remember from him?
yeah, just the basics. It's so
Oh,
simple.
yeah.
It is so simple. He's always telling me to go back to the basics, because
Mm,
if you're an athlete and you're getting into golf or you play golf, I mean you're an athlete. You're If you could hit the ball forward, that's all that matters, and all that it comes down to is the basics: your grip, aim, setup, ball position. If I'm hitting it bad, it's got to be one of those. So
yeah.
I always try to think it's something with the swing, and he's always telling me it's not the swing. It's going to be something with your setup.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've definitely written down and put in my pocket, and brought it to every tournament, even every round. I always just go straight back to basics. So that's definitely
Yeah.
the biggest advice that he's given me.
That's actually really great advice. Now that I'm thinking about it, I've seen that be the thing that helps a variety of athletes in different situations because we can get so caught up in the fact that we have to do something special or fancy. And the reality is, you win with the basics, right? So if you
Right.
get back to that, you can be really successful.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, like I said, it's definitely helped me out a lot when I've just continued to go back to the basics. It's been a lot easier to get out of a weird funk, um, or even like a slump that I was in. It was a lot easier to get out of it just by going back to the basics.
Yeah. Which is like take a look at these basic factors that create success or make or break it for you, then that's really useful.
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to like what's in your control, this is something. I mean, I still struggle to commit to it on the golf course, because I always think that like I mean, all that you see when you're watching a PGA Tour event on TV, they're only showing the good shots. You
Yeah,
don't see
uh-huh.
them show the
Or the
bad shots,
terrible ones.
or the terrible ones. So there's no in between. They're not going to show you like a miss or something like that. Like
Right,
the guys on tour, I mean, they only show a couple good shots of theirs from each round,
right.
and so that's something that I need to get better with in tournaments. Is that the only thing that I can control is being able to commit to the golf shot. That's the only thing
Yeah,
that I can control. I can't
yeah.
control the conditions. I can't control where the ball is going to go. I mean, you can like if you want, like if I want to play a
Well,
cut,
you
I
can
can try to play,
influence it, right?
and I can commit exactly. I can commit to wanting to play a cut or a draw by
Yeah,
knowing how to hit the shot. And if it does it, great. But if it doesn't, I shouldn't be too mad because the only way I should be mad is if I wasn't committed.
yeah, right,
And if I
right.
was committed, then I'm happy. And
Yeah,
even if it didn't go my way, like I would still
right.
be relatively happy with the shot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. We have to be happy with what we came with, what we did, what we set out to do, etc. But, there are all these things that influence where the ball lands that we have no control over.
Exactly.
Were there
Yeah. So
specific golfers or even hockey players that you kind of idolized growing up? Maybe not for their talent per se, but maybe for the way they carried themselves under pressure?
yeah. I mean, growing up, I would. I mean, my dad's boss, David Toms, just the way he carried himself on the golf course. I mean, that's who my dad's caddied for 25 plus years, and he's always like how I talked about with being level headed. He's always that guy who's always level headed.
Mm,
That's why he was able to rise to the occasion whenever he was under pressure. But I would definitely say a bigger name that he's probably my favorite player just because of how he is on the golf course, how he is after he plays bad, even after how he plays when he plays good, is Justin Thomas. That's some guy I look
yeah.
up to. Also, we have very similar uh, style of fashion on the golf course. I like to dress in a similar way. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, and then with hockey, on the ice, I love Patrick Kane, just his style of play. But on the ice and off the ice, Jonathan Tays is definitely somebody that I
Mm, yeah.
look up to 100%. But and that all kind of that doesn't even just go for each sport. It kind of all merges into to one, just with how they all are as professional athletes and how they carry themselves. That's definitely something I look up to and try my best to. I try to be that to the best of my abilities.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, for young athletes listening who might be at that point where they're also juggling 2 sports the way you did, is there any advice you would give them on how to stay organized or how to keep enjoying both sports without losing the fun? Because it can be
Yeah.
such a heavy workload, right? With all the practices, etcetera.
Oh, totally. I mean, that's a great question because I know that whenever it was wintertime, that's when I was like all hockey. I mean, obviously it's cold. It's cold outside. All your like buddies are playing hockey, and then when it's summertime, you don't really want to be inside the rink. You want to be outside golfing. That's how I was able to balance my love for both the sports. But got a lot better at balancing my love for both of them at the same time. But then also trying to
Yeah.
balance both of those with school and friends, like just social life in general. Um, just by trying, mainly with the schoolwork, I would definitely say that's your number one priority for all the young athletes listening.
Mhm.
That's your number one priority. If you get your schoolwork done first, the day any day I get homework assigned, I try to get that done as soon as possible,
Mm.
just so I have
Yeah.
one thing to check off my list. Because then that gives me more time to be able to go practice, hang out with friends, etc. But if I get that done and check it off my list, rather than saving it for later, I won't be scrambling. I won't be stressing. And personally, I feel more free, especially when I'm like on the golf course in a tournament. I feel more free. I our team did a stat. Our school psychologist, our team psychologist, did a study on it with if we
Oh,
had our
yeah.
work. we didn't. And when we all had our work done, all of our scores were way better.
Oh,
We were
that's so interesting. Yeah.
all hitting it way better. We were all stress free on the golf course. And
Yeah, it's interesting how Oh, sorry, go ahead.
when we didn't have our schoolwork done, it was the opposite. We were high stress. Like our heart rates were a lot higher on the golf course, and even when we weren't even thinking about school, like it's still in your
Yeah.
brain that you have to do that stuff. So it definitely
Yeah,
saves
it's
scores.
lingering, right? Yeah, it's incredible.
Definitely, yeah. But the one other thing too that I was told when I was younger from my grandfather and another named Tony Granato, who played in the NHL, coached multiple NHL teams, and was the head coach of the Wisconsin Badgers, um, to keep playing as many sports as you can. And
Hmm.
that's just something I definitely kept in my pocket, is to play as many sports as I possibly could for as long as I could. I played one more year of hockey, and I was like, okay, I'm going to buckle down and focus on golf and try to be able to make the lineup. And because that's what I that's why I chose DePaul. DePaul was because I wanted to go somewhere where the coach wanted me, and where I
Mm.
wanted to play as well. So, and where I was going to be able to play and make the lineup. So that's where I kind of narrowed it down to just golf, was right after high school, which I think
Yeah.
is perfect. But even if
Yeah.
you like, the other thing too, I was if I wasn't going to get picked up by DePaul, because I was originally committed to Wisconsin Madison for golf, and if I got dropped like 3 weeks after I verbally committed, and if I didn't after I got dropped, if I didn't get picked up from DePaul, I was either just going to go to school just with some of my buddies and go play intramurals, or I was going to
Mm.
go play D3 golf and also play D3 hockey as well, because I have my love for both the sports is always through the roof. But that would have been even harder to manage with everything else.
Yeah. Well, like you, eventually most multi-sport athletes kind of face the decision that they have to focus on one. Was there a moment or a turning point where you knew it was time to dial it back to just golf?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, it was sophomore year of high school. I had, I leading up to my sophomore year, I wasn't really. I had both my eggs in both baskets for hockey and golf, and even throughout high school, I had still had both my eggs in both baskets. But right after my senior or my sophomore golf season, so after the fall, I made it to state. I placed top 15 as a sophomore, which is not bad. It's pretty good, and
Right.
I was like, I think that this is something that I think I would like to do after high school. So that's when I talked to my coach, my parents, and looked into recruiting, and that's when I kind of saw a vision to go and play college golf.
How
That
tough
was
was that decision mentally, emotionally to kind of slowly move away from hockey?
It was very tough, at least for me, just because I mean I set very high expectations for myself. Obviously, like whatever I do, I want to be the best at. Like for example, at hockey practice, I'm always going to try to outwork everyone. Golf practice, I'm always going
Mhm.
to try to outwork everyone. And if I was going to get drafted to the NHL, I was going to be moved away up in Canada, or I was going to be already playing juniors somewhere. That's
Yeah.
not a this is I had to come to reality. I'm like, it sucked to come to reality, but I was like, I'm gonna be able to play golf for the rest of my life, and it's
Mm,
really good
yeah.
for business. And I was like, I might as well try to get as good as I can, and pursue it through college and try to get a scholarship with it. And it's
Yeah.
definitely I don't regret my decision at all. It's been the best decision I've ever made in my life.
Is there some advice you would give to a young athlete who's trying to figure out when or if to specialize? Any signs that they should look for?
Go with your gut. That's definitely it.
Mm.
I mean, my gut was always leaning towards college golf, and I always looked at everything else, like the pros and cons of each one. The biggest thing that you should do is go with your gut at all times, and
Yeah.
do something that you enjoy. You don't want to do something where like you're dreading it, it's not fun because then you're just going to get burnt out really quick. And
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so that's something I do. Like I said, I set very high expectations. I know, um, what's it called? Oh, I'm drawing a blank on the word. I know the possibilities that I have, especially with golf. I know my
Mhm.
potential is through the roof. I just get my own way. So, but so that's definitely something I took into consideration. I'm like, I know I have a way better chance in golf than hockey.
Yeah, and fewer injuries, right?
Way fewer injuries, 100%, 100%. So,
Yeah,
yeah, that was definitely the reason why I
that's a
went to go.
plus.
Yeah, totally.
Looking back, do you feel that being a dual sport athlete helped your mental game, your overall athleticism compared to the kids who picked one sport really early on?
Totally, totally. Most of my teammates on my college golf team, they've all of them have pretty much played golf their whole life. That's it. Golf's very individual. It's very
Yeah.
individual, and I mean, it's very different when you go to college. Play college golf, it becomes more of a team, and a lot of those guys struggle to become a part of a team because they've been so used to
Mm.
playing individually. And I feel like something that I'm very thankful for, especially when it came to hockey, was learning to be a part of a team and how to treat your teammates and how, like I said, like just how to communicate, bond, and play as a team. And that's why I would like to consider myself a pretty good leader on our golf team. Definitely playing hockey, then mixing it in with golf. That's definitely the biggest part of it right there.
That's really interesting. Like, so you must be actually bringing a lot to the culture of the team. What does that look like? What have you been able to do or influence just by having that experience of being on a team?
This past year, we had a lot of new guys on the team. There were a few guys that liked hanging out with each other, and there were a few guys that just liked doing things on their own. I just from based on experience from when I played hockey, if you have a good locker room, a good atmosphere in the locker room, you're going to have one hell of a team on the ice. And
Mm.
that's what I tried to bring into this year because we had a whole group of new guys. We had a bunch of great players, and I felt like if we all bonded, we all hung out a lot, we all got along, I think everybody would be happier, everybody would have less pressure on them, and everybody would play a lot better. And
Yeah. Yeah.
we had a good fall. We didn't have a great spring, but I definitely did see a lot of improvements throughout our whole team with when it came to that.
Yeah, that's great. Is there something then that maybe you had underestimated about the mental or emotional demands of college level golf before you got there?
Definitely, I definitely underestimated everything. Um,
Oh,
I definitely underestimated everything. I didn't real. I mean, I thought it was. I'll be honest with you. Like I coming into college golf, since I hate saying this, but because I sound like a jerk, but I was a relatively good junior golfer in the state and won a bunch of tournaments, played well, was on the top of the leaderboard in a bunch of tournaments, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to college. It should be not a walk in the park, but it shouldn't be much harder than this. And it's when
mm,
it came to the mental side, it was like a reading. It was kind of like trying to understand a new language. It was completely different. Um, and just kind of going like back to how I said I underestimated everything. I got so negative so quickly compared
mm.
to I was very confident. I always used to be a little cocky on the golf course, and I lost that as soon as I went to play college golf. So um,
Wow. Yeah.
if I had to do it all over again, that's something I would definitely focus more on is the mental side of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and there are some big challenges there, right? So there's you're in a totally new environment, so there's the transition to college anyway, transitioning to that kind of a team environment, new coach, new teammates, of course, and then the workload is very different from in high school,
Right.
balancing all of that. And then, there are all the mental demands, not just from the sport, but from the adjustment and even the life side. And I know you've got long periods of time where you don't have a lot of time for a social life. So that's got to be pretty challenging.
I kind of came to realization like after my first season, and we started going to more social events and hanging out with everyone. I kind of realized like, yeah, this is great and all, like being able to socialize, but I kind of realized like this is not much like my cup of tea to do that every day or like go do it every weekend. I'm more of just put my nose to the grind and try to get as good as I can at golf. So that's, I mean, definitely something that's helped me out once I realized that, from the
Yeah.
last 2
Yeah.
years, I would say. It's always good to be able to like um, go out or like go hang out with friends and get away from your sport for a little bit, get your mind off of
Mm.
that, get it away from that. But then once you take a little break, it's always good to come back and then readjust and restart from fresh. And
Yeah.
that's something I realized and picked up on pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds like you're focused on your future too.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Well, we
that's
always ask our guests at some point in the podcast, what's your next biggest goal? What's your Everest? What mountain are you trying to climb?
I'm trying to make the PGA Tour. That's what I mean. Obviously, that's my biggest goal. That's every college golfer's dream and biggest goal is to make the PGA Tour and do that for a living. And that would definitely be a bonus. So that's it. All depends on sponsors, funding, all that because it gets expensive. It gets very expensive to turn pro.
Yeah.
So that's my goal. That's my Everest is to turn professional after I graduate and do my best to try to make it to one of the PGA tours, such as like PGA Tour Canada, PGA Tour Latin America, or Corn
Mm.
Ferry Tour, or the actual PGA Tour. And
Yeah.
right now, I'm planning for next year after I graduate. I'm going to go over to Europe and I'm going to do the DP World Tour Q School.
Oh, great.
All depending on if I'm able to just keep grinding and get off the tee a lot better. That's something I've struggled with is getting off the tee. So once I'd be able to figure that out and become more consistent with scores in the 60s, then I definitely am going to give it a shot 100%.
Yeah.
Uh, so that's my goal for after I'm done with school.
Yeah, fantastic. And for
Yeah.
young athletes whose Everest is to be where you are, playing college golf, competing at a high level, what's the biggest piece of advice you'd give them?
Hmm. Gosh. It all depend. It all. I mean, it all depends. It's just. I would definitely say. I mean, you have to sacrifice a few things. It's
Mm.
sacrificing time with friends, time with family. Um, like I feel awful for my friends. I definitely have sacrificed a ton of time from them. I don't. I mean, I love to hang out. I love my friends. I would love to hang out with them every day if I could. But I know that I'm not going to get any better if I don't sacrifice
Mhm.
to go hang out with them. So I would definitely say you're going to have to sacrifice some time from hanging out with friends, family, um, going to social events. If you want to get to the Division 1 level and possibly professional afterwards, you're going to have to make a lot of sacrifices that you don't want to make. And
Yeah.
it all depends on the sport, but practice the small things. Practice the things that you don't think really matter because at the end of the day, those are the things that matter the most, such as golf, like in golf, short game.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when I was in high school, I mean I practiced it, but I didn't practice it enough, and that's something I know for a fact I'd be a lot better if if I practiced that a lot more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a really good point is that if you really want to go pro with something, that you have to dedicate yourself very thoroughly to your practice. And that practice has to involve the small things as much as it does the big things because games are won and lost over small moments, right?
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, like under pressure, you could you under pressure. I mean, standing over a tee shot on the last. You have a one shot lead. You're on the 18th tee box. You're standing over it. Your knees are shaking. Your hands are shaking. You miss the fairway, or you miss like if you hit the fairway and your approach shot misses the green, you got to get up and down to win the tournament. So that's if you practice your short game, it's gonna be you're gonna be off okay. But yeah, I would definitely say sacrificing time, social life, and practicing the small things is the biggest piece of advice that I could give.
Yeah. And in that journey of making those sacrifices, I wonder if you try to take the perspective of you're making a choice to put your energy in a particular direction as opposed to you're losing out on something that you also desire.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I'll tell
Great.
you, like my practice schedule whenever I'm not like prepping for a tournament. Um, I always like to basically I don't practice if I have a long gap, a big gap in between tournaments. Say I have like a couple weeks or so, I definitely would like to take a couple days off right after a tournament, and then
Yeah.
you know, refresh, um, and then I'll get back into it. Not too hard, but I'll get back into it slowly. Do a couple out, like I'll do probably like maybe 4 hours of practice for that day, kind of ease back into it, and then before like maybe just about a week before the tournament is when I'll start getting into about like I'll get to the course at 7:30, and I'll be there till sundown practicing if I'm not working
Wow.
that day. So
Wow.
it's definitely a lot of sacrifice, and I mean I'm not like I said earlier I I want to work out. Sorry, I want to outwork everybody, and that's the sacrifice part of it for you too. Like
Yeah.
it's a big part of it.
Well, it's incredible. It takes a lot of discipline and a lot of grit and mental strength to do all of that.
It does completely, and sure, there's times where I get burnt out, but and that's like if I'm really struggling with the game and I've been practicing for a while, like bunch of days in a row, and I was on fire, and I get the course one day and I'm not hitting it well, that's when I know, all right, I need to take a step back a little bit,
Mm,
take a
yeah.
day off, go home, relax, go. That's when I'll take a day to go hang out with my friends, see my friends, and just relax a bit, and then get
Yeah.
back to it in a day or two after I relax.
Well, rest is a meaningful exercise too, right? That
Very
recuperation.
very underrated.
Yeah.
Very underrated.
Very
Rest
underrated.
is, I mean, there's been a lot of studies done with rest and sleep, and I mean, I everybody's different, but and most players on tour, they find themselves playing their best and their bodies most coordinated when they get at least 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah,
And
of course.
I would definitely agree with that. So I always try to get 7 to 8 hours of sleep the night before a tournament, or like even before hockey games. I always try to get um, 7 to 8 hours of sleep and then a nap before the game. And
Oh
um,
yeah. Uh-huh.
rest is definitely your best friend. And
Yeah. Yeah.
something that's super important. I would definitely say.
Well, thank you for sharing your journey, Billy. It's been really interesting and nice to hear about all these thoughts and perspectives that you have on how to be successful in this process.
No, of course, it's always good. Like I always like sharing my journey, especially to um, the younger kids, the younger athletes that want to do something similar. And there's always a ton of learning moments out there. So thanks a lot for
Absolutely.
having me on.
Hi, everyone. What's your Everest? We all have a mountain we're trying to climb. My book here, What's Your Everest? How to Win in Sports, Career, and Life While Enjoying the Ascent, is here to help you with your journey to the top while enjoying the climb. It's written for both teens and adults who are looking to grow, push themselves, and believe bigger. It's available on Amazon. And if you find this book is helpful to you, even with one step up the mountain, I'd truly be grateful for your review. Keep climbing. You've got this.